Game is on. The stakes are high, but the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that ring. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of
18.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you've got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
And welcome in. It's in-game live game day here on the grid. Scott Wetzel, Dave Sharapan for the next 2 glorious hours, right up until 10 p.m. Eastern time, watching, analyzing, and more importantly, betting on the world of sports. Dave, Coach James Young, George Kurtz, Cam Stewart, the big three joining us tonight. We're going to get some hockey. We got some college basketball with the with NIT, yes, and then the NCAA playing games, little NBA, and a little baseball to get to as well. Black Clouds, SGPs, you name it, we got it here on the grid. What's going on, Dave? How are you tonight, bud?
Good, man. We're loaded up tonight. We got a great guest list. We got a menu of basketball, NBA early, not so much. NBA late, sounds great. And college basketball, I guess these are called first four. The
Who
two
knows?
games tonight in Dayton. I'm going with first four because that's what it appears on my odds screen here. We got St. Francis and Alabama State, neither of which team I watched 1 second of this entire season. And I found the home where the game's at, so we have it on. The line's moving all over the place. 48-42 with just under the 15-minute mark, so we'll keep an eye on that. Of course, I had to break out the North Carolina stuff because everybody's talking about North Carolina and whether they should have been in or not. You kind of said it yesterday with Bubba and, his bonus and everything else. They got in, so they're hosting tonight, San Diego State, and we'll talk about that. And
I have a conspiracy, by the way.
Oh, I figured you might.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I you know what? It took a day. The public is all upset about North Carolina getting in, as the public should be. But like we do here in the game live, we take things a step further, little deeper than what the public is just saying, right? Always, right? So here's where I'm thinking, Dave.
Okay.
They did this on purpose. And what do you mean, Scott? Well, no matter who was going to be in, North Carolina was getting in. So don't worry about they just got in because they got lucky because all these teams that were bubble teams ended up winning. No. They were going to get in. Why, Scott? Because what do they want to do, Dave, with the NCAA tournament? They want to expand it. they want more teams, which equals more money, which means less of the NIT, the CBI, and the CIT. You know, the NCAA doesn't want to be in competition. They don't want NIT games tonight and tomorrow and Wednesday and Thursday and Friday, whatever. They don't want that goofy tournament to start there in Las Vegas this year, right? They want to be up by themselves, so they want to expand. But you can't expand because people are saying it's too many teams. But, and here's where the conspiracy kicks in, if you put North Carolina in and you keep good teams like, you know, West Virginia and Indiana and Ohio State and pick whoever out, there'll be enough yelling and screaming that the NCAA this summer will say, well, you know what? We obviously need more teams, so we're going to put more teams in. The public will be happy about it, and then they'll get really ultimately what they want.
Jeez, I had to put the listening glasses on for that one. That one went deep there. More teams. I don't think we need more teams.
No, we don't.
I don't.
We don't. But it means more money.
I understand
they want to
about
put more
the
teams
money.
in.
With more teams comes more games, comes more money. Okay. But one of the best things about the college basketball tournament is that it's perfect. It was perfect with 64. They somehow worked this first 4 in and got 4 more teams in and stuff, and that's fine. They got 2 games today, 2 games tomorrow. That's enough. I don't want to see more teams. And we don't need to see more teams. There's more tournaments that, you know, teams are declining bids to. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
I mean, there are basketball games tonight, right, in the NIT. But back in the day, the NIT used to be a lot bigger deal, and it was actually in direct competition. Now it's definitely not. This other tournament, the Crown thing that they're doing in Vegas, doesn't start until March 31st. I got you a seat, by the way, if you want to come. Bring Matty George. We'll see if Vinny can come out. We got seats available. Apparently good seats are going to be available for that at the end of March. So, midweek games in between the week of the Final Four, the Sweet 16 and the Final Four, whatever that week.
Makes sense.
Okay. It's Vegas. So talk to the wife, see if you guys can get out here. We'll come out. We'll see that. But, I mean, there's a lot of things happening on a Tuesday. I mean, those super trends. You got all these graphics. The boys went to work with all this stuff. What do you have cooking tonight with these super trends?
All right, let's say we'll start with the super trends because some of these games do get underway. So keeping track of this a little bit, we're 12-8, and they really aren't us saying you should bet on these. We're just giving you the 5 best trends of games that have yet to begin or beginning, you know, at the start of our show, and you can do whatever you want with them. It's just nice to keep track just to see, but it really, you know, it's do what you want. All right, so we'll start with North Carolina, game that starts here in about an hour or so, depending on how long this first game lasts. 7-0 against the spread as a favorite. They're laying 5 tonight against San Diego State. If you just want to buy into trends, North Carolina beats the teams they're supposed to beat. They lose to the teams they're supposed to lose to. This is the team they're supposed to beat. North Carolina laying the 5, 4.5, 5 is the trend play. Then we got Cleveland later on tonight. Love this one. Just because it's Cleveland. 42-24-1 against the spread. That's good enough as just a straight-up record, let alone against the spread. 18 games over 500, including 7-1 their last 8 road games. They're in L.A. tonight to take on the Clippers. Play is lay 3, 3.5, depending on what line you get Cleveland tonight. Okay. How about a little hockey, Dave? How about Dallas? 43-9 against losing teams. 44-8 when they're a 2-1 favorite or more, which they are tonight. They're 3-1 and change. They don't lose point in games like this. They just don't. So you may well play the puck line, or maybe get them in 60 minutes. So you drop the odds down a little bit. But the trend play would be Dallas tonight minus 325 and change against Anaheim. Another late one there. Edmonton and Utah. There are combined 17 games more unders than overs. 17. So let's go under 6.5 Utah and Edmonton. And then our best trend of the night, Vancouver's at home against Winnipeg. They're slight dogs. Vancouver 10-1 under their last 11 games as a home underdog. So under 5.5, Winnipeg, Vancouver. Do as you wish. There they are, best trends of the games for later on tonight. What do you think?
Man, oh man. I mean, this is good. And again, I said it for years. I'll say it again. If anyone else is going to use it, please attribute it to me because I never heard anyone else say it. But trends are your friends until they're not. Tonight, I think we have friends. I think those are pretty good. Dallas is winning a hockey game. That one's happening.
Right.
Edmonton and Utah probably going under. I like that one a lot as well. The North Carolina one, I like North Carolina to win. I don't know if they're going to cover. That game is going to be, I think, a really back and forth type game. I'm kind of leaning over. We'll see if we can get to that after we get to talk to JY and see if we get anything. Cleveland's the best team in the East, record-wise, and I mean, odds-wise, they still won't make them the favorite over the Celtics because the Celtics are the returning champs, and all the bets came in on the Celtics preseason and during the early part of the season because nobody believed in Cleveland. I believe in the Cavs. I like them tonight as well. And Winnipeg's been playing playoff hockey. So these are pretty good. These are pretty good tonight.
4-1 maybe? 3-2 at worst? Right?
Oh, 3-2 at worst. I think 4-1. I mean, you got a shot. I think you got a shot. If we can get through this North Carolina thing, you got a shot maybe going 5-0.
Yeah. All right. So we'll check it out when we come back. In-game live, just getting underway. Game day on the grid.
So my team didn't win this weekend, but I still did with this app that's taking over the game. Sports Millions Pick'em lets you make quick and easy predictions. Pick your favorite players, go higher or lower, and you can still win big even if your team loses. Plus, the multiplier is insane. With just a few picks, you can win big money. So get on it. They've got a welcome bonus to help you start off your winning streak.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun. I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
welcome back. In-game live game day here on the grid. Scott and Dave, hour number one, just getting underway. We got a little hockey. We got a lot of hockey tonight. Great night in hockey. George Kurtz will join us in a little while to talk a little pucks with him. We got a couple of NBA games and then obviously the NCAA tournament, little college basketball. So, Dave, I was doing, I didn't have a chance yesterday and all the craziness and everything going on. So today was the first day I kind of delved into some of these NCAA lines. And before we get to the hockey, because I do want to get into that, obviously, there was one game that, and I went in thinking, okay, I know these lines are going to be closer than what most people expect because as we talked about yesterday, 27 out of the 31 conferences that send teams to the NCAA tournament had their first or second place team win the postseason tournament. So all these scrub teams that no one's ever heard of are actually really good teams. So I knew the boys in Vegas would make these lines a little strange. But there was one. I mean, a little pop, not really pop quiz, but run down the NCAA games here. And I don't know which day it was, otherwise I would tell you. And is there one that really just like, wow, that makes no sense at all?
All right. So there's 32 games. So I have a 1 in 32 chance. I could throw out all the ones and the twos. Okay. So we'll do that. Yeah. How about Arkansas and Kansas?
Nope.
Okay.
It's a good team versus a nobody team.
A good team versus a nobody team. Yeah. Now, I don't want to say Drake is a nobody team. Is it Missouri and Drake?
Nope. Decent. That's a good guess, but nope. Lower than Drake even.
Okay. Wisconsin against Montana.
No, it's a pretty good line. Little higher.
Okay.
But no.
Let's see. Let's go to Friday then. Michigan State against Bryant?
No, that's a decent line. It's Thursday. No, Purdue at High Point. Producers say Purdue at High Point. It's a pretty good one, though. It's lower than that. The point spread is lower than that. This is almost like pick'em. This is a Power 5. Go ahead.
Okay. No.
This
okay. So now
Power
I
5
know that.
champion.
Yeah.
That's almost
Power
pick'em.
5 champion. That's almost pick'em. I don't know. I give up. Tell me.
You'll see. You'll know when I say it. Michigan, which won the Big Ten championship, right? Is a 2.5 point favorite over UC San Diego, the Tritons. 2.5 points. That basically pick them. I got the Big Ten champ, now not regular season champ, but postseason champ, right? And obviously a good team, not a fluke team. I got the postseason champ basically pick them against San Diego Tritons.
Yes.
What am I missing?
So, well, I'll give you this. Saturday, so I'm on the road for 17 days, right? I mean, first down to Florida, then up to Nashville, SEC championship, watch basketball all week up there, baseball and softball down in Florida. I come back, land in Vegas Saturday morning, and end up at the Big West Conference Championship and see the UC San Diego Tritons in person. Sat in the third row,
How about that?
hung out with the Triton mascot. It was great. Thoroughly impressed with that team. I can't tell a lie. That was beyond impressive. And when it came about that me and the little one were going to go, and we actually met Peralt and his daughter there, I did some reading on the team to try to get an idea of what to expect and make a play, obviously, on the way and then during the game. And we laid it with UC San Diego, the Tritons, and it was kind of easy. And after researching it more, they have the team best ATS record in college basketball, UC San Diego Tritons, right? And they also have the most 10-point runs. Thanks, hat tip to Colin Wilson, a guy works for the Action Network, sent me that on Twitter. They can score in bunches. There it is right there. Look at that. I don't even know what a Triton was. He was holding a trident. He was gray and had a really long beard and all
mermaid.
this other stuff.
It's basically a mermaid,
don't-
a male mermaid. It's a,
Okay, well,
it's-
that's
yeah.
fine.
I looked it
I was
up.
going to say, didn't look like a mermaid that I know.
Well, it's like it's got a fish for a tail. You know, it doesn't have legs. It's got you know a fish tail, and it's a body.
Well, he had legs and he had really long hair.
He had
He was
legs?
holding the trident. Yeah, he did. He had a basketball uniform on. I mean, mascots are not
Well, he can't
mascots
be
unless they're
standing as a
wearing
fish.
fish. Well,
Can't
he
be
wasn't.
standing as a
He didn't
fish.
move. I was impressed. That team, look,
So
they
you
play
were impressed.
defense. They turn the ball over. They make the other team turn the ball over. When you look at their turnover ratio, they're second in the country in making teams turning the ball over. Now, maybe that's an indictment of their conference, but I'll tell you what, they played 7 guys. They only played 7 guys in that championship game. They all played almost 30 minutes. It was really, I think they're live to win the game. I really do. You don't think so?
Well, I'll tell you, you know, I have a couple teams circled, and we'll spend more time on it tomorrow, that are like potential upsets. And I was really disappointed. I tell you, I always try and go over it, and then I look at the lines last, right? So I had this one circled, and then when I saw only -2.5, I'm like, oh, fudge. You know, I was hoping like 5.5, 6.5, something like that. They're 12-2, Dave, on the road, including 5-1 as an underdog. I mean, that's as good as it gets. I don't know if there's another team, you know, outside of the big boys, and maybe not even them, that are that good on the road. I mean, that's better than most teams' home record. So that they can win on the road, neutral site, 2.5. I mean, that's basically you're going to beat the Big Ten champ. Are they that good?
I think what we'll be able to discuss the rest of tonight, even with Coach, and then tomorrow, is this fade the Big Ten. I think there's a real thing with, you know, the bad guys, like I like to call them, guys that bet limit plays and stuff, are looking to fade the Big Ten for whatever reason, and that would include Michigan.
Wow, interesting. All right, SGP, same game parlay, coming up next.
Which is a great place to be. Are you in the locker room? Like, you giving like the Any Given Sunday inches Al Pacino speech? Are we there yet?
Oh yeah, I think we've been there. We're gonna have a long talk with Rob today about the 99-199 issue from last week. Like I just don't get how he is still employed. We gotta talk to ownership about that one.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
They're also showing a little bit more propensity to take the pull-up jumper, which I think is important for them. Aiden Holloway's been better. Brant Nelson's getting this thing out of foul trouble. Clifford Laurie is attacking the offensive boards and being the defensive threat that they need. If Alabama can defend, and they make a run, and they win the SEC tournament, I think they're the 4th number 1 seed.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
That is also value to be the best player on the best team. To me, it's Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. There is no doubt about it.
The Nuggets probably going to finish, 2nd overall in the conference here, and it's not going to get him the MVP. We'll see how it is down the stretch, and I assume this is going to tighten up, but barring a huge drop-off for OKC as a team, not just SGA, you could probably pencil him in for 30 a night.
The early line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
Rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of thoughts.
18.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back. In-game live game day here on the grid. Hour number one. Got the hockey. We got NBA. We got college basketball. Game time. Yes, absolutely. From here until 10 p.m. Eastern time, Scott and Dave. This time it's SGP, same game parlay time. All right, good bounce back spot here. I know there are 15 games left. We're towards the end of the season, and teams like the one we're going to play tonight really playing for nothing, but that's okay because they got embarrassed their last game, and that's the Cleveland Cadavers. At home on Saturday night, they lose outright to Orlando, blow a lead in the process. Really just an ugly loss, right? So let's use them tonight. Don't like going against the Clippers at home, but we will this evening because Cleveland's just that good. So we're going to start our five-piece same-game parlay with the Cleveland Cavaliers. You can get them now at 3. We put it earlier 3.5, but it's 3 now. So Cleveland laying 3. They're not losing 2 in a row. They've only lost 2 in a row 3 times all year. So it's not going to happen again tonight. Let's go Donovan Mitchell, 25 points. This is one of those games, against the Celtics or OKC, nationally televised game. Forget about it. He's lost. But game against the dopey LA Clippers, he'll go for 35 tonight. Perfect game for Mitchell. Then we'll go on the other side of the court. Let's go James Harden for the Clips. 15 points or more. He'll get that in his sleep. He's minus 850. Did boost the odds up about 75 points, so we'll take it. Harden 3 threes, and it boosted the odds up another 75 points, which I thought was kind of surprising considering we're going over on his point total. So we'll take that. And then Zubac, the rebound machine for the Clips, 10 rebounds. He averages well over that, minus 310. The prices are crazy with some of the bigs they put on this stuff. But add it all up, I got Cleveland winning, Mitchell being the star, and then we got a couple of guys from the Clippers contributing to our parlay, Dave, and it pays over 6-1. What do you think?
I mean, this is kind of quite the heel turn for you. You have talked about Donovan Mitchell in no uncertain terms of not being that guy, and yet you have him at 25 points or more tonight on your same game parlay. So this proves that, sometimes in the book, it's never personal. It's just business. And, the other ones, the Harden one, yes. The Harden one, yes. And Zubac, yes. So I'm not worried about that. Does the Cleveland win and not cover concern you at all? Is that possible?
No. If anything, it would be it would be Mitchell just because it's Mitchell. But this isn't really a big game. That's why I think he'll do well.
Oh.
So, the pressure's off. Their winning streak is over. If they lose, who cares? What's the difference? They got an 8-game lead, 9-game lead over the Celtics in the loss columns. It's a nothing game, except they're battling OKC for the best record in the NBA. And I don't think the players really care about that. Fans, yes, but players, no. So this is like the perfect spot for him to get his 25 points.
Okay.
And it's on the road, so it doesn't figure to be a blowout. Maybe Zubac not getting 10 rebounds, because no one's missing shots, but I like this one, to tell you the truth.
Yeah. Yeah, this one goes 4 out of 5 or 5 out of 5. So we'll go on record as saying that. You either miss this by 1, and I don't even want to say it out loud, but it'll probably be because of Mitchell, because of all the bad mojo that you've put out there about
Bad
Mitchell,
mojo,
and now you're going with Mitchell, right? Yeah, just saying sometimes that comes into the handicap a little bit. Those of you at home watching, again, you understand what I'm saying. So if you are at home watching, tweet at us, at SportsGrid, tag them, at Opposite Picks, at SportsBK Consig. Do you think Wetzel gets this one home, the same game parlay? There's the line on the game, the total on the game. I like the Cavs minus 3. Pretty much a universal number right now, so 3.5 on the graphic. You think the game goes over or under, Scott?
I tell you, Clippers are a strong under team at home. Cavs are a strong over team on the road. So it's one of those. That's why I didn't put it in there. I wasn't sure. If I had to, I guess I would go with Cleveland since I think they're going to win. But it wouldn't shock me if it went under, just because they Clippers, their games on the road go over, but at home they go under. So I'll stay away from that one. Any hockey here before we get JY in? Because you'll do more baskets with him. Any hockey before we get to the break? Rangers down 2-1 against Calgary.
We got to keep an eye on Detroit and Washington, right? That's a really good hockey game. Like Washington pregame. So we'll see. Maybe time to jump in on them. And then we'll talk about the later hockey games. I mean, the Rangers are losing to the Calgary, right? Is it time to jump in on them?
Well, they're only getting plus 128. Little surprised with that. Really, yeah. All right, baskets with Coach James Young coming up next here on the Grid.
Which is a great place to be. Are you in the locker room? Like, you giving like the Any Given Sunday inches Al Pacino speech? Are we there yet?
Oh yeah, I think we've been there. We're gonna have a long talk with Rob today about the 99-199 issue from last week. Like, I just don't get how he is still employed. We got to talk to ownership about that one.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
They're also showing a little bit more propensity to take the pull-up jumper, which I think is important for them. Aiden Holloway's been better. Brant Nelson's getting this thing out of foul trouble. Clifford Laurie is attacking the offensive boards and being the defensive threat that they need. If Alabama can defend, and they make a run, and they win the SEC tournament, I think they're the fourth number one seed.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
That is also value to be the best player on the best team. To me, it's Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. There is no doubt about it.
The Nuggets probably going to finish, second overall in the conference here, and it's not going to get him the MVP. We'll see how it is down the stretch, and I assume this is going to tighten up, but barring a huge drop-off for OKC as a team, not just SGA, you could probably pencil him in for 30 a night.
The early line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that ring. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of 18.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on the Grid. Scott and Dave, hour number one. NBA college basketball NCAA tournament is underway, although most of the bracket's not really affected. We got the two play-in games. Let's talk a little hoops with our good buddy, the coach, James Young, joining us now. What's going on, Coach? You got any action on this first game? And what do you think of North Carolina in game number 2?
Well, I liked Alabama State minus the points. Scotty, when you kind of looked at this game and you kind of broke it down, there were some things that I looked at. It was one, the way that Alabama State, I should say, pushes the pace. Their average possession length means they want to get up and down the floor. You look at a team at St. Francis, they throw the ball around the gym, they turn the ball over a lot. Alabama State wants the first forced turnovers. A team that steals the ball a lot against a team that gives up steals. So I liked Alabama State, but the problem was is St. Francis just really shot the you-know-what out of it. But it looks like we got a little bit of a comeback here. It looks like a 2-point game under 4-minute timeout.
All right, sir. That's good to hear. We need to know, amidst you talking to Fred McCaffrey and all that other stuff with great things you're doing on betting above the rim, should North Carolina even be in this tournament? I mean, how do you feel about this? And they're laying 4.5, and there's a lot of people that are going against them because they don't want to see them in there. But there's other people that are going, they really are the better team. The Mountain West has been iffy at best. What do you think about, 1, North Carolina being in, and 2, tonight?
I don't think they should have been in, but let's be honest, Dave. What was the criteria? Like, what did the NCAA do? Was it strength of schedule? Was it net rating? Was it, quad 1 wins? Was it how you played down the stretch? Because the thing I didn't understand is, I don't think it went straight to schedule and they went with net for Carolina. But you look at a team like, Gonzaga, and they're an 8 seed. You look at a team like Auburn, whose net is 4, and they got the overall 1 seed. So to me, I thought they were wildly inconsistent. All that being said, I'm laying the points. I got it at 3.5. I wouldn't blame people at 4.5. I do think they're a better team. And if you take out their second half versus Duke at the Dean Dome, and then a horrific first half without Cooper Flag, where they were down 24 late in the first half, they've been playing pretty good basketball as of late. So to me, I'm laying the 4.5. Contrast styles, Dave. A team in Carolina wants to run versus a team in San Diego State wants to walk it up. The thing I found is, especially the defensive efficiency of North Carolina is at 53. They're actually better defensively than they get credit for.
How about tomorrow's play-ins, Coach? American laying 2.5. And I haven't watched that team, but I did follow them down the stretch. I like what they did. Mount St. Mary's one of the few teams that didn't even come close to winning their respective regular season conference. And then you got Xavier laying 3.5 against Texas. It's amazing. The SEC, nothing for nothing, right? Got 15,000 different teams in. And every time I look up and down the betting board, the SEC team is the underdog. I thought this conference was so great. Why are they being underdogs against mediocre teams?
Well, I think the fact that Texas kind of snuck their way in, it was really guided their performance the last 2 games, or 3 games of the SEC tournament that really got them in. They probably were on their way out before the SEC tournament. First of all, let's start off with that Mount St. Mary's American game. When you look at the metrics, the advantages for both teams are on the defensive side of the ball, right? You look at Americans' defense, right? 205 versus Mount St. Mary's, 292 offensively. You look at the defense of Mount St. Mary's, 176 defensive versus 252. Both teams defensively had their teams at 283 and 285 on possession length. Then you start looking at all the factors. Every factor almost is advantage defense in the matchup. So I'm going under, because I think you could have a situation where teams walk up the floor. Both teams are trying to get their first ever win in the NCAA tournament. A little bit of nervous energy. Mount St. Mary's American, game goes under.
I was down in Nashville, watched the SEC, okay, and saw a lot of things and went, okay, they got a lot of good teams. They obviously have the best teams with the number 1 seeds and things like that. Is this one of those tournaments, just in general? Let's talk just in general. Are we getting, K-Dub asked me this on Game Time Decisions, I'm going to ask you. Would it shock you that we would have the second time ever all 4 number 1 seeds in San Antonio?
Not going to happen. I'm going to give you the spiciest of spicy takes.
Oh,
I don't think any of them are getting to the Final Four.
What?
Whoa!
None. Not one. Number one, wow. Auburn was not worthy of the number 1 overall seed, losing 3 of the last 4 games, right? And you look at teams, they lose confidence. To me, the team, if they were to be healthy, I actually like Iowa State to come out of the South region. Let's go to the West. You think I'm going against Slick Rick the way he's playing right now?
Oh,
Florida,
baby.
Coach Golden's done a great job, but you know what? Now you're the hunted a little bit, and they've played so well that a stinker game is coming. I wouldn't be surprised. They don't want to play UConn in that second round. UConn wildly inconsistent. They're wildly inconsistent. But if the role guys, the senior guys that have been there before step up, maybe they catch Florida not ready to go. When you look at the East, it's Duke. It's simple as that. I would take my time with Cooper Flag, getting them back. I do like it. And then the team I think is winning the national championship, I like Houston. I think you look at guard play, check. Defensive, check. Rebounding, check. Experience, check. Toughness, check. Head coach, check. 7-1 odds. I like the Houston Cougars to win the national championship, particularly because I've liked what I've seen out of Emmanuel Sharp. Remember last year, right? Oh, Big 12, Big 12, Big 12.
Yeah.
What happened to them in the NCAA tournament when they got to the Final Four? When they were the best team, best league in college basketball. That team right there in Houston, with L.J. Cryer, with Emmanuel Sharp, that guy Emmanuel Sharp right there, who's been really, really, really good as of late. You look at Juwan Roberts, you got to get him healthy, the big man. He's been injured with ankle injury, did not play in the finals. But L.J. Cryer, Emmanuel Sharp, Uzan, those guys are enough scoring that I think they cut down the nets in San Antonio.
All right. Well, if that's the case, then you will get one number one team in there because they're a number one seed. So you can't say you're going to get
talking about. Well, I'm sorry, I misunderstood it. I thought it said SEC. I don't think any SEC teams are getting it.
Okay.
No SEC teams are getting it.
That makes sense. Right. That would be
sounded
great.
like a
that
Big
really
East guy. That sounded like a Big East guy.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say St. John's was going to be able to beat Florida as well. You got to get through two Big East teams probably. How about Cleveland losing at home to Orlando on the road against the LA Clippers? Little NBA chat before we let you go, Coach.
Well, listen, you can't go. I was in this spot remember I was on with you, I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago, and the Nets were beating them by like 20 points. I'm like, jump on Cleveland on the money line. Guess what we're doing? We're jumping back on Cleveland on the money line. I'm going to jump on them until they lose another game.
JY, real quick before we let you get out of here, college basketball, big news today off the court. DeVries goes from West Virginia to Indiana. Are you surprised by that move? I mean, just 1 year in West Virginia, you can't not take the Indiana job, right? You got to take that job.
You have to. And I think here's the other thing really quick. I did an interview with Fred McCaffrey. Make sure you check it out, Betting About the Rim podcast. But I'm going to tell you something. Someone better go get this guy a job. He can't get NAL help. I think Fred McCaffrey's one of the best minds in college basketball. He deserves to coach next year.
All right. There'll be a lot of openings once those dominoes start falling, that's for sure. Chances are he'll be on the sidelines again. Coach, great job as always. Coach James Young, we'll do it again soon.
Which is a great place to be. Are you in the locker room? Like, you giving like the Any Given Sunday inches Al Pacino speech? Are we there yet?
Oh yeah, I think we've been there. We're gonna have a long talk with Rob today about the 99-199 issue from last week. Like I just don't get how he is still employed. We gotta talk to ownership about that one.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
They're also showing a little bit more propensity to take the pull-up jumper, which I think is important for them. Aiden Holloway's been better. Brant Nelson's staying out of foul trouble. Clifford Murray is attacking the offensive boards and being the defensive threat that they need. If Alabama can defend, and they make a run, and they win the SEC tournament, I think they're the fourth number one seed.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
That is also value to be the best player on the best team. To me, it's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. There is no doubt about it.
The Nuggets probably going to finish, second overall in the conference here, and it's not going to get him the MVP. We'll see how it is down the stretch, and I assume this is going to tighten up, but barring a huge drop-off for OKC as a team, not just SGA, you could probably pencil him in for 30 a night.
The early line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that rim. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of
15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Dave, thanks to the coach. James Young joining us there, talking a little hoops. So he likes North Carolina, which may not be starting for a little while. We have 4 seconds left. Apparently, the kid missed the front end of a 1-and-1 for Alabama State. That would have put him on top with 11 seconds left. So I got tied at 68, 4 seconds left. Not sure what's going on, but we might be going to overtime here, Dave. Alabama State had a chance. In fact, they were leading by 3. Kid from St. Francis hit a jumper to tie the game, went to a break. Then there was a foul. Bama State goes to the line, shoot 2 free throws, but he misses the front end of a 1-and-1. So I got 4 seconds left, tied at 68. What do you got? Anything different?
No, St. Francis, he missed the free throw. St. Francis got the rebound, and it was complete panic. They didn't call a timeout, got the ball over the midcourt line, and lost the ball. So turned the ball over. So Alabama State has the ball, 2.7 seconds left, and we'll see if they can get a shot off that has a chance. So this would be a perfect way to start off these first 4 games. Comes down to the last second. And yes, it will delay the start of the second game. The shots of the parents, I can totally relate to. Like they're in the crowd, just with their heads down, head in their hands, and just going like this, and like, oh no, this, that, whatever. We got to do something about these reviews, though, right? Like the end of, I mean, can you imagine, as you being a world-class official, basketball official, if you had access and had to review all the plays, how long your games would take? This is what goes on at the end of these games forever.
Yeah. And listen, I don't mind them checking, but some of them are like so obvious. You just swear that they want to get TV time. It's like, what are you doing? Or they'll be like, 28 seconds left and the team has the ball to start a possession and could just wind the clock down to 3 seconds. And they'll take an hour to figure out whether there's 27 seconds left or 28. It's like, what's the difference? They're still going to dribble the ball down to 3 seconds. You don't have to spend an hour trying to figure out whether there's one more second on the clock. So,
my goodness.
Alabama State hit a shot.
My goodness. They threw the ball to the length of the court. There was a scrum. It looked like a Hail Mary in football. 8 guys looked like around the ball, and it kicked out to a guy who threw it up and got a layup, basically, with 0.7 seconds left. So Alabama State somehow got the ball. Unbelievable how that just happened. Wow. So now,
let me see it.
Yeah, we're left. We're left.
I'm about a minute behind, so let me see.
Okay. So you can see it right now.
Pass.
Yeah. And the ball just kicked right to a guy. Like, how did that ball
go? It's like a Hail Mary in football, right? The Hail Mary in football, and the guy's just sitting in the back, and it just deflects to him. Oh, my goodness.
You remember when Berman and Tom Jackson used to do, Tommy, what's he got to do? Knock it down. Nobody knocked it down. And it resulted in a layup. I can tell you this from the review point of view. So after being at the SEC tournament all week in Nashville, the people in the crowd have no idea what's going on in the arena while all of that's going on. That is strictly a TV thing. And it stinks for the in-game experience. You're literally sitting there, and they start playing the music on the PA system, and you're like, what in the world is taking so long? All right, so we'll see the end of this game here together. Wait and see. All right.
Wow.
So
all right.
Wow.
So it looks like Alabama State moves on. So I'll tell you what, just as far as the gamblers are concerned, the fickle fate of when did you put your bet in? Alabama State St. Francis, Dave, 139.5 this afternoon. I saw it as low as 137.5, which is, of course, that's what I got with the under. Game ends 138. The game goes to overtime. It goes over. If you got it at 139.5 earlier today, then you're a winner. If you put it in late like I did, you're a loser. All based on one bucket. Amazing.
So good lesson. We'll give it to everybody all week, the rest of this week. Actually, just me and you today and tomorrow. The boys will do the shows the rest of the week. But the numbers are as good as they're going to be in college basketball right now. And odds makers will pat themselves on the back for tonight. Game open 139, close 136, and a game falls 138. That's not the best ideal situation for the book, but the book will have enough times to win and lose. The game opens 3.5, closes 3.5. The game falls 2. Pretty good numbers. So favorite wins, Alabama State. There's the Hornets right there. They move on, and now they go get crushed by who?
Auburn.
Okay.
Auburn.
27.5, maybe 29.5. That'll be the line.
I will tell you this. Do you know what state Alabama State is?
Trick
Alabama.
question. You would think it's Alabama.
Trick question. Right? You know what state Auburn is from? Alabama.
How about
Just
that?
saying. Just saying. You know,
What are you
little
saying?
karma,
What are you
big
saying?
boy against the little boy. You know, all these kids wanted to go where? To Alabama or Auburn, right? Every single one of them. They didn't want to go to Alabama stinking state. Little chip on their shoulder. What'd you say it was 27.5?
Well, I just made it up. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll keep an eye on
Okay.
it. But no, I mean, I've done this before. The line's going to be 27, between 27.5 and 29. Tell you that right now. And I didn't look at nothing. That's the first time I literally have seen Alabama State in the history of my life. But I'll tell you, that's what the number is going to be. It might, I would be surprised if it comes less than 25. So, I mean, that would be the absolute bottom. We'll see.
Yeah.
They'll have it out before the end of the show. Yeah.
I don't think Auburn's getting to the Final Four. So I don't know where they're losing. But
okay.
I don't like that. I think North Carolina's got the chip on their shoulder, right? And rightfully so, and may win tonight. But Auburn got the break. They had no business being the number 1 overall seed. They just didn't. They had a worse record than Duke and Florida, and they lost to both Duke and Florida. I mean, it makes no sense. It's just no sense whatsoever. So everything's going against them. They got their break. They're not going to lose to Alabama State, but I'm going to bet against them. Give me Alabama State. Give me the Hornets. Oh, yeah. Little buzzkill, pardon the pun, on Auburn season.
That was on purpose. Don't say pardon the pun when you tried to use the pun. You can't say pardon the pun when you said buzzkill. The Hornets.
Well, money line action Thursday as well.
Which is a great place to be. Are you in the locker room? Like, you giving like the Any Given Sunday Inches Al Pacino speech? Are we there yet?
Oh yeah, I think we've been there. We're gonna have a long talk with Rob today about the 99-199 issue from last week. Like, I just don't get how he is still employed. We gotta talk to ownership about that one.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
They're also showing a little bit more propensity to take the pull-up jumper, which I think is important for them. Aiden Holloway's been better. Brant Nelson's staying out of foul trouble. Clifford Murray is attacking the offensive boards and being the defensive threat that they need. If Alabama can defend, and they make a run, and they win the SEC tournament, I think they're the 4th number 1 seed.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
That is also value to be the best player on the best team. To me, it's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. There is no doubt about it.
The Nuggets probably going to finish, 2nd overall in the conference here, and it's not going to get him the MVP. We'll see how it is down the stretch, and I assume this is going to tighten up, but barring a huge drop-off for OKC as a team, not just SGA, you could probably pencil him in for 30 a night.
The early line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple of thoughts.
18.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Hour number 1:55 past the hour. Little Black Cloud play of the daytime. Ah, yes. We remain on fire. Hitting with Ohtani last night, 2 bases. It took a double in the top of the 9th inning, but that's okay. He came through, minus 125. Cha-ching, cha-ching. We're now 14-2. Our last 16 Black Cloud plays. Unbelievable. So let's keep it rolling tonight. Don't do this too often. But we're going to double down. We're going to go back to Cleveland and the LA Clippers. We use the cadavers in our SGP, same game parlay. I really do like them tonight. I was going to go with Golden State, but no Steph Curry. Giannis and Lillard could be playing for Milwaukee, should be playing for Milwaukee, so I can't use that game. Otherwise, I would have taken Golden State because they got embarrassed losing to Denver. Hockey, I would have played Dallas, but that game was already underway. So, you know what? Why not? Cleveland laying 3 against the Clippers, Dave. Cleveland 42-24-1 against the spread. 7-1 against the spread their last 8 road games. 15-3 straight up versus teams with a winning home record, which the Clippers do have. They play much better at home than they do on the road. But it's just Cleveland's been too good this year, just too good. So let me see them lose 2 in a row. It's only happened 3 times all season. Black Cloud, let's do it. Give me the cadavers on the road, laying 3 against the Clips.
Man, oh man, that was such a good case. How could we go against that? I mean, let's stay hot. Let's just stay hot. I have nothing else to add other than you never really do this. You always keep the Black Clouds separate from the same game parlay. So a little concerned about that. And again, the same game parlay looked good. This Black Cloud looks good. Cleveland looks good. Are we ready to say that Cleveland is going to win the East? Can we say that? I mean, we're going to come up with this S&W Corporation's, plays tomorrow. Would we use Cleveland for the NBA?
I'm starting to buy into them, Dave. Yeah, boys in Vegas are as well. I really am. You know why? Because Boston's never healthy. Like they're playing tonight. No Jaylen Brown, and no Jason Tatum. Now it's a typical NBA thing, and the Celtics actually are halfway decent about playing their stars. But you know what? They're not playing tonight. Porzingis is always hurt. Holiday's always hurt. And the same old thing is being said by the Celtic fan. Well, once they get healthy in the postseason, they're not going to lose. Well, yeah, that may be, but they're never getting healthy. They're not healthy. And they got away with that last year with Porzingis, but I don't think this year you can get away with that with Cleveland. They're just so good. All they do is win. I mean, 16 in a row before the other day. I mean, they're winning in Boston. They're winning here, there, everywhere. I think they can beat Boston. I really can, especially with home court advantage.
And I think that's obviously way, way more important to the Cavs than it is to the Celtics. Obviously, they're not catching up, so they're not going to have home court. I got guys like the Shrew, a big Cleveland guy, that are rooting for this Cavs team. And, in Cleveland, they just announced they're building a dome for the football team. The baseball team may take some, step back this year in the American League Central. We'll see. The Cavs are Cleveland's only hope. Speaking of hope, how does a line for Auburn and Alabama State? The boys were doing the work while we were at commercial break. I'm surprised at this number. It's over 30. 31 in a basketball game? Oh,
wow. They locked it up already. I wonder if they made a mistake because FanDuel's already got it locked up. I got a feeling the next number we see is going to be like 28. I bet they got pounded with Alabama State money. Right? I mean,
we'll see. I mean, 31. I don't know. We've been told many times that, the guys in the rooms are watching the show. So again, shout out to you guys. My number was 28.5 or 29, just under 30. Yep. I could even argue that we could put up 29.5 or 30 and take a bet on the dog, but you went a little bit extra with the 31. I'm very surprised by the 31. So you made a case.
And the under was so low. Well, the under was only 147.5. So now you bet Alabama State in the over. Alabama State scores 55 points and you're guaranteed a push.
That's the Wetzel math problem that I love so much.
There you go.
Another Wetzel system. Pay attention.
Definitely like that.
Attention.
We did that with SIU Edwardsville as well. That one was 48. Magic. Right, hour number 2 coming up next. George Kurtz, talks from hockey.
Which is a great place to be. Are you in the locker room? Like, you giving like the Any Given Sunday inches Al Pacino speech? Are we there yet?
Oh yeah, I think we've been there. We're gonna have a long talk with Rob today about the 99-199 issue from last week. Like, I just don't get how he is still employed. We got to talk to ownership about that one.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
They're also showing a little bit more propensity to take the pull-up jumper, which I think is important for them. Aiden Holloway's been better. Brant Nelson's getting staying out of foul trouble. Clifford Murray is attacking the offensive boards and being the defensive threat that they need. If Alabama can defend, and they make a run, and they win the SEC tournament, I think they're the 4th number 1 seed.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
That is also value to be the best player on the best team. To me, it's Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. There is no doubt about it.
The Nuggets probably going to finish, 2nd overall in the conference here, and it's not going to get him the MVP. We'll see how it is down the stretch, and I assume this is going to tighten up, but barring a huge drop-off for OKC as a team, not just SGA, you could probably pencil him in for 30 a night.
The early line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of
18.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on the Grid. Hour number 2 of our 2-hour extravaganza. Scott and Dave back together again for tonight and tomorrow. Then the boys take over for the NCAA stuff, and we'll be back the following Monday. So we'll put that all aside here. Dave, we'll talk a little pucks, little baseball as well, with the Dodgers opening up the season with a win last night, 4-1. We gave out the under, cha-ching, cha-ching. We'll do that with our good buddy George Kurtz, who joins us now here on the Grid. What's going on, George? How's your hockey night? We'll start there going for you.
Well, you sort of knew tonight would happen. Last night was golden, right? The chalk really came in last night, so that was good for me. Baseball was great this morning, so I knew you knew tonight wasn't going to be as good, right? The odds are going to get back again. Been a so-so night so far here. Islanders just scored on a breakaway goal by Kyle Palmieri, by the way, which is not good for me because I have the under.
Oh, that's all right. It's 2-1, and it's third period's just starting, so I think you'll be okay there. George, the S&W Corporation, the Scott and Dave Corporation, Wetzel and Sharapan, we're looking at futures and trying to figure out for the NHL where to go. We got 3 options where we're trying to pick teams to get to the Stanley Cup, just to be alive, to get into the Stanley Cup. Let's start in the East. Who are you looking at in the East, if you were to narrow it down to, say, 2 teams? We don't know yet who the wild cards are going to be, but we kind of know the matchups and the way things are setting up. Is there anyone in the East that jumps off the page to you other than the Florida Panthers?
Well, I think at the Tampa Bay Lightning, right? They're cross-state rivals there. The Lightning are a very good team, sort of built for this, right? When you have one of the best goaltenders, Vasilevsky, one of the best defensemen, Hedman, one of the best forwards in Kucherov, you're a danger, right? You're a dangerous team there. I think the key in that division could be, you want to finish first because you want to play one of those wild card teams, which theoretically aren't as good. You want to avoid Toronto and/or Florida. Think of how you can fall. Whoever wins that division will avoid Toronto and Tampa, at least in round one, right? So theoretically get an easier matchup in the first round of the playoffs. So I think that's the key there. So if you ask me a team outside of Florida in the East that I like, Tampa would be it.
They never beat Florida, though. They're going to be able to beat Florida in a best of 7, or you're counting on someone else beating them? Because they don't play well against Florida.
Let's just say I guess I'll say if Tampa gets first, that means Florida play Toronto first round. We all know Toronto's not beating Florida. All right, they just don't. And they have the same problems they always have. So yeah, it is set up again. It'll be Tampa versus Florida second round here. Florida is beat up right now, right? I think Matthew Tkachuk will be back by then. Ekblad will be back from suspension by then. So they'll theoretically have a full team here. I think what Tampa Bay would be betting on is that, Florida's played a lot of extra hockey the last 2 years, right? Won the Cup, been to the Cup. It's a lot of extra hockey here. Maybe they can, wear them down a little bit. I don't think that would work against Florida. They're usually a team that wears you down here. But I think that's the best road here. When you ask me my two favorite teams from the East, my problem is I don't trust the Capitals. I just don't do it. All right, and that's my issue. They remind me. I keep saying this over and over again. They remind me of the Minnesota Vikings of football. Great regular season.
Oh boy!
And they might go down round one or the playoffs. I just don't think they're as good a team as they're playing during the regular season.
Okay, I was kind of hoping that you said that. That was kind of where I was going with all of this, trying to see. Well, now I know that you don't trust them. Before we move on to the West, I know you got the Islanders and the Penguins on one of those TVs and screens where you're at watching right now. There's some false hope being created right now in Pittsburgh that they're going to make a run here and actually make the playoffs. It's nighttime in Pittsburgh behind me. I am a Penguin fan.
No way.
I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. I don't think, George, right? They're not making the playoffs, right? I know this is 4 in a row. They're winning tonight. What do they going to win again? They're not making the playoffs, are they?
The problem with the Penguins, let's just say, once again, for giggles, they win tonight, right? They beat the Islanders, so they'll have 68 points. They'll be at least 4 points out of a playoff spot. But the problem is they've played 2 or 3 more games more than anybody else. There's a lot of games in hand for the Islanders, for the Boston Bruins, for the Columbus Blue Jackets, who are done. Detroit Red Wings, Montreal Canadiens. These are all the teams the Penguins have to climb over, and the Rangers. Right? They all have games in hand on Pittsburgh. It's just too many teams to climb over. And when you give up that many games in hand, no, I don't think they can make it here. And as we're talking, the Montreal Canadiens have just tied the Ottawa Senators here. And I think if you are a Penguins fan, you're rooting for the Senators tonight. You don't want Montreal anywhere. You don't want them getting a point. You don't want them getting 2 points here. So I'm going to say no on the Penguins here. And that's the other problem in the NHL. It's hard to make up ground when these games go to overtime. Everyone's getting a point. It's the insane playoff point system the NHL has here. No on Pittsburgh. I don't think they make.
Would be nice if the Rangers lost, Penguins win, then they're 4 back, and the Rangers are losing. So, but you're right. You got all these other teams. It is kind of dopey. All right, if you were going to throw out Colorado, would you rather have the second team in the West? If you're going to pick 3, right? We're going to go with Florida. We're going to go with Colorado. Would you rather have Tampa Bay or another Western Conference team? And if so, who's the team?
I'd rather have another Western Conference team. I'm going to go with here. I like Tampa Bay a lot. So in some ways, we're just splitting hairs here. But you have to really love the Dallas Stars and what they've done here. I mean, my only question about the Stars, well, I guess I have 2 questions about the Stars. One, they're very likely to play your Colorado Avalanche in round 1. All right. Once again, the NHL's insane playoff system has led to this, where a really, really, really good team, maybe a top 3, top 4 team in the NHL is going bye-bye after round 1, because that's the way it's going to be here. So that's going to be tough here. They're not likely to have Heiskanen. They're really their best defenseman in round 1 of the playoffs here. It looks like the earliest he would return is round 2. And I also need to see Ettinger be that goalie that we think he can be. When he first came up, guys, I don't know if you remember that playoff series versus Calgary. I know Gabe and I remember it because Ettinger stole money out of our pockets here because he was a brick wall. It was unbelievable how well he played. Yep. And he hasn't been, not that you're ever going to be that good, but he hasn't really been even in that anywhere near close since. He's been a good goaltender, but not great. Not Vasilevsky, not Hellebuck during the regular season here, that sort of thing. Can he be that goaltender? If he can, I think Dallas might be the best overall team in the Western Conference here. But until I see it, I can't believe he is. So Dallas would be one team for me. I'm not going to pick Winnipeg until they prove to me they can win. I can't do it. I mean, come on, Dave. Are we surprised if Winnipeg loses to Vancouver or St. Louis or whoever?
You get Winnipeg at 20-1. Listen to this. You get Winnipeg at 20-1 on FanDuel to be the President's Cup trophy winner and the Stanley Cup. And they got a 2-point lead over Washington. 20-1.
I think they can be the President's Cup. I'm not worried about. They might get that. I don't see them. Out West is a beast. I mean, Winnipeg, let's just say they win the wild card round. All right, then they have to go play Colorado or Dallas. Then they got to go play Edmonton or Vegas, whoever comes out. I don't think the Kings will come out. And then they got to go play Florida or Tampa, whoever comes out of the East. I don't see that. Hellebuck has choked. He is Dak Prescott. He has choked. So the entire Jets team of the Dallas Cowboys, great regular season, choke in the playoffs. I need to see it. I think they'll win round one. I do, but I think that's as far as they go. I think Dallas or Colorado, whoever wins that series, I think they beat Winnipeg.
Okay, so Winnipeg plays tonight. Edmonton also plays tonight. You're ruling out Edmonton too? I mean, Edmonton tonight against Utah, the number's a little bit light. I actually like the under in that game. But you didn't mention Edmonton and Connor McDavid and the Edmonton Oilers, who did get to the Stanley Cup Final, Game 7 last year. Rule them out?
They better have another gear. They better have another gear to put into because they have not been playing that well. And I do not trust Skinner, by the way, as far as I can bowl him. Hard to win when you don't have that goaltender here. By the way, the Islanders have tied it up against the Pittsburgh Penguins. Noah Dobson.
Wow. As far as you can bowl them. I've never heard that expression before.
Throw them.
Capitals take a 2-1 lead, but not Ovechkin. George, great job. We'll do it again soon.
So my team didn't win this weekend, but I still did with this app that's taking over the game. Sports Millions Pick'em lets you make quick and easy predictions. Pick your favorite players, go higher or lower, and you can still win big even if your team loses. Plus, the multiplier is insane. With just a few picks, you can win big money. So get on it. They've got a welcome bonus to help you start off your winning streak.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the game starts so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on the Grid. Thanks again, George Kurtz, joining us, talking a little hockey with him. Back to the baskets, and we'll get back to the hockey here as well as we've had some scoring updates. But starting in about 5-10 minutes or so, North Carolina laying 4, 4.5, 5, 5.5, depending on the way you do your shopping. Second of our play-in games after Alabama State won the first game basically at the buzzer. Taking out a San Diego State team, 21-9. A San Diego State over-under 141, 142. Again, depending on where you do your shopping. North Carolina, Dave, 22-13. Not a great against the spread record. One of the worst in the NCAA tournament, as a matter of fact. 15-19-1. Not horrible, but when you compare it to the other teams. The one I do like about North Carolina, stat-wise, well, two of them. One, the one we gave you, in the top 5 trends, 7-0 against the spread as a favorite run. But North Carolina, they don't lose games when they're supposed to win. 21-3 this season as a favorite straight up. San Diego State, 4-6 as an underdog. That's not horrible, but that 21-3 tells me that North Carolina gets the job done when they're supposed to. So I like North Carolina laying the points.
Yeah, I'm leaning North Carolina too. I like the game over. The move has come on the under. Looking at my odds screen here, it's down to 141, pretty much consensus. The producers are with us here. It looks like Matty G and the boys have gone with the North Carolina minus 4.5. So that's the play, I guess. And the producers, I don't know if they've been as hot as the Black Cloud play of the night, but that's good. Does the winner of this game, Scott, win another game? They got Ole Miss, right? These are two 11 seeds playing tonight. Ole Miss is on deck. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what the number would be. Ole Miss is going to be favored against either team. Usually, a discussion between North Carolina and their conference and San Diego State and their conference, the ACC would have dibs, right? You'd be like, oh, well, I mean, obviously the ACC is better than the Mountain West. This is the first year in a while where you could go, well, hold on a second. San Diego State's in the Mountain West, and the Mountain West wasn't great, but the ACC was, in a word, terrible. So I don't know who, like, when you look at that, when you factor that into the handicap, I think it's a pick 'em. I can't say that North Carolina's in a better conference and played better competition other than like Duke and maybe Clemson. That's it.
Yeah, it's like you got to pick your side with the SEC, David. And I'm on the fence, but I am going to lean one way or another. And I think I'm going to lean in a way I'll tell you here in a second. But I want to go against the SEC. 14 teams in. We all know that's ridiculous. There's just no way in the world you should have 14 out of 16 teams get in, right? But I will tell you, SEC this year, they won 89% of their games against other conferences. That's 9 out of every 10 non-conference games the SEC won. Well, maybe they were playing a lot of small conferences, you say, right? Against the other Power 4, the other Power 5 conferences, Big Ten, ACC, 58-19. I mean, they really are the best conference overwhelmingly. They are. So as much as I want to make a statement and bet against every SEC team and say, I told you, I'm not. I'm going to take the SEC. I mean, unless all of a sudden things are going to flip, it's going to switch automatically. All of a sudden the SEC is not better. I mean, those are some pretty strong numbers. So you got 4 teams that are underdogs, and you got another team that's basically pick 'em, and then we'll see what the Mississippi line is depending on who they play, right? But you got Texas, Georgia, Arkansas, Oklahoma, all as dogs, and you got Mississippi State minus 1.5 against I forget who they're playing. So I'm going to bet them all and see how it turns out.
You're going to bet on them all? Yeah, Mississippi State ends up being a small favorite against Baylor.
Baylor, that's right.
Yeah. So I'll tell you what. I watched all these teams play literally last week in person. The emphasis on the 3 is unbelievable. Like, they really have some shooters, every team. And a lot of the offense is trying to get, now this is just college basketball in general, but specifically the games that I watched in the arena, is get that corner three. Like, they work the offense to either dribble drive, and kick out to get a guy in a corner and knock it down. Every team had at least one or two shooters who got stationed in that corner and they worked the ball around. Ole Miss got a couple. Like, I really – Ole Miss got out to a huge lead in the game that they played in and then needed a buzzer beater to win. They lost I think Ole Miss lost to Auburn the next day. I can't remember who they lost to. But, yeah, this will be an interesting game tonight. I think we'll get some if we get a fast start, this total will go up, and I think we can look to take under in the 150s, any number in the 150s. But if this slow start, I mean, with this crash that's going on right now with this line, this thing is going to drop like a rock while we're at least in the first half while we're watching this game. Don't be surprised to see the first half go under the way this is. I'm watching it just in general, the numbers. The first half is going to, if it starts slow, we're going to see from a close of 141, say, we're going to be in the 130s quick and into the 120s even faster.
I do like betting on these teams that get disgraced like this. Like, the whole world say they don't deserve to be here. It's the old us against the world, chip on our shoulder. No one giving us any respect. We got something to prove. We see this year after year after year with Syracuse when they would get all those controversial bids. Mm-hmm. And one year they got to the Final Four, right? Remember that year when they weren't even supposed to be in the tournament. So that's another reason why I like North Carolina. Just the optics of it all. They don't, Yeah, I think they actually win and cover, and then maybe go over as well. So, so they tip off. They're saying 9:22, but I don't know if that's really going to happen because it's 9:21 right now. So we'll see. A couple more minutes before they drop. Couple more minutes. We'll see. Washington scored again. I'll let you know if Ovechkin scored when we come back. So far, no. Let's see.
Which is a great place to be. Are you in the locker room? Like, you giving like the Any Given Sunday inches Al Pacino speech? Are we there yet?
Oh yeah, I think we've been there. We're gonna have a long talk with Rob today about the 99-199 issue from last week. Like, I just don't get how he is still employed. We got to talk to ownership about that one.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
They're also showing a little bit more propensity to take the pull-up jumper, which I think is important for them. Aiden Holloway's been better. Brant Nelson's getting staying out of foul trouble. Clifford Murray is attacking the offensive boards and being the defensive threat that they need. If Alabama can defend, and they make a run, and they win the SEC tournament, I think they're the fourth number one seed.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
That is also value to be the best player on the best team. To me, it's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. There is no doubt about it.
The Nuggets probably going to finish, second overall in the conference here, and it's not going to get him the MVP. We'll see how it is down the stretch, and I assume this is going to tighten up, but barring a huge drop-off for OKC as a team, not just SGA, you could probably pencil him in for 30 tonight.
The early line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple of thoughts.
18.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Dave, hour number 2 of our 2-hour extravaganza. Boys over at FanDuel getting a little smarter in their old age. Capitals scored again. Yeah, to make it 4-1. So there were about 4.5 minutes left, and I quickly rushed over to see if I could bet an Alex Ovechkin goal, right, for empty netter. Because we've done that on weekends a couple of times already. Very nice, because they want to feed him the puck, right? He's on the ice to get that empty netter, so he sets the record. And they've had that posted, but tonight they finally took it down. So you can bet on Washington to score the next goal, but they might not pull a goalie at this point. But I was going to play Ovechkin, but they don't have that anymore. So, but we capitalized on that a couple times on weekends. Interesting.
Did you say capitalized? Was that on purpose?
You know what? I did. No, that was actually by accident. That was actually by accident on that one. Pardon the pun.
Over 1.5 tons for Wetzel tonight. I mean, that works.
Yeah.
All right. So, you guys watching at home, cash all those tickets. He has not scored yet, but yeah, him getting an empty netter likely. We're not really on pace now to get him that record. So much, right? It slowed down while I was on vacation. We hit a little bit of a lull. He had a big game once and then a lot of games of nothing.
Yeah, he's not going to get there. The numbers weren't reflective of the odds of him getting there. They were giving us plus. That's why I didn't play it. Plus 175. I played the no. He did 16 goals in like 27 games after the break. That's a lot of goals. So he may have his spurts, but that's still a lot. So he needs 8 goals. You throw out tonight's game, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 games. 8 goals in 14 games. I mean, listen, all it takes is one hat trick and then boom, he's halfway home basically to at least tie it anyway. But the bet was to just break it. I don't, and get the postseason coming up. If he's not like within 2 or 3 days with 2 or 3 games left, I would think they would sit him and just say, you know what, let's get you geared up for the postseason. That's our main concern at this point.
20-second timeout. Quickly bet the Celtics right now if you can. They're up 1. They're only minus 3.5. It's 81-80 against the Nets, and there's about 6 minutes left to go. It's going to move. His next basket, they just moved. They just hit a 3. It's 84-80, and it's minus 5.5. Trying to get in there and jump in, try to get the Celtics. I just did it here, minus 3.5. So we're sitting there up for 84-80. Current numbers 5.5. We're starting to get a little bit in that interesting spot. I mean, the game closed 13. So if you want to take a shot on a really good number, and you feel good that the Celtics are going to take this one all the way home to the end, I think it's worthy of a bet. I just, the show's called In Game Live Game Day. We're here to give the people some things, when we see them, we shout them out. So I was trying their 3.5. Maybe if it dips back down, if the Nets get another basket, we'll keep an eye on it. But just wanted to put that alert out while we're off to a super slow start in this college basketball game, right? Nothing's happening.
5-5, 3.5 minutes in. I got.
Let me hit refresh.
Too bad. 7-5 now. Oh,
okay. So
I just missed an uncontested layup.
Yeah,
the guy he bobbled the ball. No one near him. He bobbled the ball. I got a good one for you in the Milwaukee Golden State game. Our good buddy, one of our listeners reminded me, no Steph Curry, right? So of course Golden State's going to win because they lost last game against Denver when Denver didn't have the Joker or Jamal Murray. That's how the NBA goes. You're missing your star player, you get to win. So, but how about Damian Lillard? His point total 22.5. You know where he's from, don't you? San Francisco, the Oakland area, Bay Area.
Yeah,
loves going back to the Bay Area to have monster games. So
okay, all right,
over 22.5. Not a bad little hunch play on Damian Lillard tonight. Yeah, he's been there obviously many times. Still,
I was going to say, he played in Portland for a long time, so like it was one of those things. Okay, all right.
But now he's stuck in Milwaukee.
Is this a Wetzel system play? Like going back to your hometown?
Oh, yes. Going back to hometown, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Birthday, hometown, either one. So Yeah, a bunch of people coming out to watch him play. Probably had to buy 1,000 tickets.
Gotta leave everybody
So-
tickets for that. Yeah, that's a big deal when you go back. Yep.
You don't want to
All
score
right.
15 points when you got all those people in the stands.
No. Definitely.
Over 22.5. That's a low number, too. All right, in-game live continue.
Which is a great place to be. Are you in the locker room? Like you giving like the Any Given Sunday Inches Al Pacino speech? Are we there yet?
Oh yeah, I think we've been there. We're gonna have a long talk with Rob today about the 99-199 issue from last week. Like I just don't get how he is still employed. We gotta talk to ownership about that one.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
They're also showing a little bit more propensity to take the pull-up jumper, which I think is important for them. Aiden Holloway's been better. Brant Nelson's staying out of foul trouble. Clifford Murray is attacking the offensive boards and being the defensive threat that they need. If Alabama can defend, and they make a run, and they win the SEC tournament, I think they're the fourth number one seed.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
That is also value to be the best player on the best team. To me, it's Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. There is no doubt about it.
The Nuggets probably going to finish, second overall in the conference here, and it's not going to get him the MVP. We'll see how it is down the stretch, and I assume this is going to tighten up, but barring a huge drop-off for OKC as a team, not just SGA, you could probably pencil him in for 30 a night.
The early line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of thoughts.
18.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back. In-game live, game day here on the grid. Scott and Dave, hour number 2. We got Cam Stewart coming up in 10 minutes. We got baseball later on this morning, tonight, however you want to describe it. Dodgers, Dave, want to spend a little time on his. Dodgers did win last night. You know, we both said we liked the under with two Japanese pitchers, 4-1, easy winner, right? So back to the board we go. Day number 2 of our let's open up the season in Japan special. Dodgers and Cubbies. I want to keep track of this. Let's have some fun. Okay. Just that for blanks and giggles. $100 to bet on the Dodgers every single game, and then $100 to bet against the Dodgers every single game, and we'll see which one generates the most money. Just what do you think? I think, as crazy as it sounds and as public as they're going to be and as big as lines we're going to get, I think if you bet $100 on the Dodgers for 162 games, you're going to win money. Would you rather bet on them or against them?
So we lay in the juice, or we just betting a flat 100?
Lay in the juice. You're going to win 100. So it's going to be minus 300, minus 400 sometimes.
Okay, so right. So yesterday was minus 160. So 160 to win 100. If you think, and you do, you said it on the show, if you think they're going to go over their season win total, then them winning or them betting on the Dodgers every day, you're going to come out ahead. I think for you to lose or betting against the Dodgers, I think they have to win 100 or less. So they have to win in the 90s. Like if they go over 103.5, which is pretty much the consensus season win number, I think you're going to get there. I think you're going to win money, even laying those big prices. Just a math equation, right? I mean, they'll have less than 60 losses, with over 100 wins. So I think the juice will be enough to overcome it. Now, it's painful, but you're going to get a couple really big pluses on the Dodgers throughout the year. And hitting those plus 300s are fun, but losing 5 of the 7 days, it makes for a very long summer. I had a guy I worked with, I nicknamed him Brooklyn Joe. He did it back in, I believe it was 2009 or 2010. And he bet against the Phillies. He said, the Phillies are no way are they going to win as many games as they're projected to win. And he bet against the Phillies every day. And they ended up winning the division. I think they won 101 or 102 games. And you want to talk about defeated. Like by the time the All-Star break came, he was just despondent because he would go into the book every day with a C note and bet. And like even the people behind the counter were like, Joe, I mean, what are you doing? He's like, I'm sticking to my experiment. I'm doing it. And yeah, he actually gave it up by the time he got to September. He said, I'm done. I can't. I'm never going to get it back. And I don't want to blow it all in September. And I said, September is the month we have to do it. Because that's when they, right? That's when they rest. And a lot of times you can get live dogs in situations that you're getting a nice plus. But good luck if you want to bet against the Dodgers every day. There's a season win total. Graphic looks great, boys. 104.5. Wow. That's a lot.
I don't know how they don't get to 105 wins. I'm surprised. You know, you said last night was about 170 or so. Tonight's only 145. I know there's no Mookie Betts again. I get that. Neutral field. I get that. But, you know, listen, if I could get minus 145, 175 a lot of times, I'm afraid, as you said, I'm afraid of the minus 250, minus 350. That's when it gets really, really goofy. And that, you know, you think about it, you got to win 3 times if you lose one minus 250 bet to win money. But I'm going to keep track. I probably won't go 100. I'll probably do like $10. But I can just add another zero in the end. So, but we'll keep track. And then, you know, every week or so, maybe every Monday, we'll just say, all right, if you bet against the Dodgers, here's where you'd be standing right now. So I do like them tonight, minus 145, too. I mean, that's, you know, next to nothing against the Cubs. Who are the Cubs, right? Well, I think most people over there are – that's a home game for the Dodgers, right?
Well, yesterday was just a showcase for Japanese baseball players. I mean, it was an unbelievable atmosphere, huge crowd. I mean, tickets were going for $3,000 just to get in the door. Tonight's game 2 of that. Now, the Dodgers did it yesterday without Freeman. He didn't play. And without Mookie Betts. Yeah. Mookie Betts is not playing tonight. Maybe Freeman's playing. Maybe he's not. But the Dodgers can just go show up and do it, you know, on a night when the first 4 innings, they didn't even get a hit. Ibanaga had a no-hitter going after 4, and they pulled him. So, like, I don't know how many innings tonight Sasaki's going to pitch. I'm very interested to see him pitch. This is going to be another game where I think the game goes under. Steele pitches for the Cubs, and that's the danger of the Dodgers. Like, they can go dormant and not get anything off the starter and then come in and get a couple good quality at-bats against the relievers and open the game up. And then their bullpen is now they got the best players, they got the best pitching, they got the deepest bullpen. It's really hard to say that they're going to lose, you know, or they're not going to win 100 games. That might fall just short of the 104, but you're right. I mean, you got to like them tonight.
I tell you, if this is any sign of what's to come, we got to make a mental note of this, Dave, because you said Imanaga gets yanked after 4 innings. The guy's throwing shutout baseball, didn't allow a hit, but he reached his pitch count, 69, right? So his his strikeout total was 5. So if we're going to get all these managers the first week, maybe 2, and the boys in Vegas don't catch on to this stuff, man, you got to pound the unders on these strikeouts for these pitchers because they're just not going to be in the game long enough to get to their totals.
An absolute nightmare in making the totals. Yeah, that's the problem of making the numbers is not knowing the pitch count or knowing the pitch count, and it's only going to get them through the order not even twice. It's tough. I really think, and a lot of people like to bet the K props over. And I get it, but you're absolutely right. I think early in the season, especially, you know, as we get the games starting in March. I mean, they're starting MLB games in March. Opening day used to be reserved for like Easter weekend, opening weekend, like it was April 8th, 9th, or 10th. I remember always, planning on going in Pittsburgh when it was cold and freezing and wet and raining and whatever. It wasn't too many times I went to opening day in Pittsburgh, and it was nice. But, man, they're starting earlier, so I think they got to protect pitchers' arms. I think you're right. I think that, we'll see. We'll keep track of guys individually like Imanaga and his K total in April and watch it go up as we go into May and we're doing shows into the summer.
Don't say this too often, but my under is back in play, like real good play. I like the under Calgary, the Rangers. It was 2-1 after one. I was like, oh, fudge, you got to be kidding me, right? Yeah. It's still 2-1 with 2 minutes left. That you don't get breaks like that too often. Yeah. Look at the Islanders, 4-2 winners. They win. Then they rally from 2-0 down against your club. So that's the end of that.
Yeah, George had
Dallas got tied up by the Ducks. Yeah, he had the under 5.5. Got the empty netter. Oof, that's a killer.
Sweating his Celtics right now. I got Celtics minus 3.5 in game. It's 98-90 with 1:20 left. Hopefully we get no more back. Don't say that out loud.
Well, you're not say that out loud. You're up 8. You're laying 3.5. That's I know.
Just said it out loud.
I shouldn't have said it out loud.
You're good. I know.
It's down to 7.5.
Your total was good, and I mean your total is good though.
True.
Even if they score and they get another goal, man, oh man.
Yeah, if that over 5.5 hits in that hockey game, then I'm just going to give up gambling. Dopey Dallas is now tied with Anaheim, 2-2, late second period. I shouldn't have to sweat out Anaheim and Dallas. Just shouldn't have to.
What's that?
Up and over Utah.
Minus 390? Minus 300.
Start. Wow. Damn, coming up next.
Which is a great place to be. Are you in the locker room? Like, you giving like the Any Given Sunday inches Al Pacino speech? Are we there yet?
Oh yeah, I think we've been there. We're gonna have a long talk with Rob today about the 99-199 issue from last week. Like I just don't get how he is still employed. We got to talk to ownership about that one.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
They're also showing a little bit more propensity to take the pull-up jumper, which I think is important for them. Aiden Holloway's been better. Brant Nelson's getting staying out of foul trouble. Clifford Laurie is attacking the offensive boards and being the defensive threat that they need. If Alabama can defend, and they make a run, and they win the SEC tournament, I think they're the fourth number one seed.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
That is also value to be the best player on the best team. To me, it's Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. There is no doubt about it.
The Nuggets probably going to finish, second overall in the conference here, and it's not going to get him the MVP. We'll see how it is down the stretch, and I assume this is going to tighten up, but barring a huge drop-off for OKC as a team, not just SGA, you could probably pencil him in for 30 tonight.
The early line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple of
18.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, Game Day on the Grid. Scott and Dave, hour number 2, as we welcome in our good buddy Cam Stewart, who takes over with Gabe at the top of the hour for the next 2 on SportsGrid. What's going on, Cam? Busy slate. We got college basketball, NHL, NBA. Where are we going tonight?
Anywhere you want to go, Wetzel. Anywhere you want to go. I can't believe Anaheim just scored, so they're leading Dallas now. That could be the old trapdoor of the evening there. Edmonton and Utah. I'm just watching guys throw down fights. We got North Carolina up 9 early in that game. Let's take a look at what we got here. You want to give me San Diego State plus 10.5? I was actually going to wait. Hopefully they were down to take that. I didn't like really what I saw early. Despite the turnovers, they're not capitalizing. But if they keep on forcing turnovers, I will take that number at 10.5 with the Aztecs. Total 141.5. Don't really have an opinion there. NHL hockey, that's good for the Flames. Okay, let's think about this. So the Rangers were up 1-0. Flames score 3 unanswered. Dallas was up. Anaheim's winning. The only team that's really held the lead, the Blues and the Kraken, have just tied it up with the Blackhawks down goals. So what have we learned? We learned that teams come back in the National Hockey League. Tonight, a little bit of a leap of faith, guys. I know this is crazy, but I'll take a shot with Vancouver tonight, plus 145 against the Winnipeg Jets is my pooch. I'm already on the Anaheim Ducks, plus 1.5 and 2.5.
All right. We got to bring it up because Wetzel did something tonight that he hasn't done in a long time. He combined the same game parlay with the Black Cloud play of the night, boys. If you can find the Black Cloud play of the night graphic, put that up for Cam because the Black Cloud is on a 14-2 run.
Wow,
Cam. 14-2 run,
That's
and he's
impressive,
laying
Wetzel.
points on the road with Cleveland. This seems like an obvious play. Can you make a case for the Clippers tonight, or do you like the Cavs?
No, I like Wetzel's play. I lean Cleveland as well. And in the other game, I actually like Golden State plus 1.5. That's the way I'm looking at that card. The Cleveland Cavaliers can win anywhere, anytime. I like it, Wetzel. The fact that you're on a 14-2 run should be commended. That's very, very impressive. I hope you're betting a lot on your games. Dave, with this other NIT, I was actually looking at I don't know Riverside's going to play. It's one of those situations where I like to take the road team because they're not getting respect, but that loss to Cal Poly Slow, will it motivate them bowing out in the tournament, in the Big West tournament, the way they did? And then we have another matchup there too with Cal State Northridge getting 7.5 against Stanford. I'm not sure. I don't really have opinions on those games. Cal State Northridge was good to me this year, but I don't know what to do. My girlfriend, basically, I told her, I go, hey, you want to make some bets? She accidentally bet the NIT, and I think she's 3-1 right now. She told me Chattanooga. I go, why? She goes, I like the name. I go, okay, sounds good. She's like Arkansas State. She goes, I almost got killed in St. Louis, so I think I'll go on Arkansas State. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. And I'm just like literally, I'm like, what are you doing? And she had some other game that like won by a mile. Who was it? Oh yeah, Jacksonville State over Georgia Tech. Yeah, she just takes dogs.
Look at that.
She learned from me, Dave, poorly, by the way, but she's doing well. I'm doing not. And she's like, why didn't you tell me about that St. Francis? Alabama State came back and won. I'm like, you got to bet it live. You know, you're watching. She's watching the cooking channel after. Oh no, it's ridiculous. Like literally, like she's only like $5 to $10, $20, but she'd like bets on names and is winning successfully. So all the people you think you got it figured out, you don't. She's doing better than me. I can tell you that. So. Anyway, that's the way I'm looking at it.
Ask her this, because I'll ask you this. The game tonight, right? North Carolina, San Diego State is an 11-11. All right. They play Ole Miss next. Now, we saw the earlier game, and they're 16s and 16s, and it was a crazy ending. Alabama State's going to go be a 30-point dog to Auburn, so they're not going to win that game. Can the winner of this game tonight go and then beat Ole Miss?
Yes.
That's the question. Yes.
Yes. Either team, I think, can, Dave. I think Ole Miss is a very beatable opponent. North Carolina has a lot to prove. Like, remember when people said, "Why are they in the tournament?" Well, that gives them motivation. If they win this game, I'd expect them to win another. Or same could be said for the Texas Xavier game, right? Like a lot of the time, the winner of the play-in game tends to do well. Like, and I remember that year, like, oh, those Pac-12 teams suck, and UCLA was a play-in team. They went all the way to the Final Four. It could actually happen. So, and Oregon State they're like, oh, why are the Beavers in this tournament? They reek. And then they went on a run. So basically, whatever the narrative is, it's kind of like an opposite narrative. I don't know what's going on in this hockey game, guys, but if you want to give me Utah, if I can get 3.5 or 4.5 goals, they're down 3-0 to Edmonton. I'll buy. There it is, 3.5 minus 130. I'm in. That's another thing. I have to take these teams down multiple goals. They might fold their tents, but out of principle, I will take the Utah Hockey Club getting 3.5. And I know you guys probably disagree with Vancouver tonight. Vancouver's a cold team, I get it, but with the Flames winning tonight, they got to show up. This is getting real too. Like Utah's in the mix, and look at the East. Montreal tonight. We talk about Ottawa. Montreal just beat Ottawa. The Montreal Canadiens are alive. Hey, Ranger fans, your team might not make the playoffs. What happens if the New York Rangers don't make the playoffs? Oh my God! But Dave, it's getting more real by the minute. Like that's a big loss to Calgary.
Yeah.
What are you saying, Wetzel?
They'll clean house. They'll clean house if they don't make it. And I don't think they will. I think most Ranger fans have resigned to the fact that they're not going to make it this year. I don't know what happened to them, but people thought they were going to win the cup heading into this season.
They were Stanley Cup favorites. They were in the upper echelon with the Leafs and stuff like that. It's like, what the hell's going on here? That is like crazy stuff. That's the thing about hockey with this playoff system. You get points. You just keep on. Don't lose in regulation. Get points. Win a shootout. Grind. Like everybody stays close so you can kind of get there. And I'll tell you, man, holy geez, this Montreal Canadiens team is making a move all of a sudden. So don't count any of these guys out. But I'm going to take a shot with Vancouver tonight. It might be wishful thinking, but this team is going to play desperate hockey tonight. I expect them to show up against Winnipeg.
Were you surprised last night about the NBA when we saw Denver's line go from Golden State -4.5 to the Nuggets getting 11.5, and then they win the game outright?
Dave, I told you I made a mistake early, but thank God I took it late at 11.5. I saved my ass last night. Like I'm telling you, I don't know why this stuff has been happening for years. It's almost an automatic bet. It's probably the best bet in sports. All stars gone, line steams by like 6 or more points, take team that has no chance, and they win outright. It's been happening a lot. Or when they have these call-ups and stuff, like people must have got smoked in money line parlays there. Just absolutely throttled. Cubs tonight. I lost last night. Shout out to all you Dodger fans for getting it done on the run line, but I have to come back to the Cubs. That was the deal. They lose game 1. I got to come back game 2. Steele's pitching too. I love this kid. He's one of my favorite pitchers in baseball. Big fan.
Golden State line is down to 2. Makes no sense without Steph playing. You watch them win. Yeah, great job, man.
Which is a great place to be. Are you in the locker room? Like you giving like the Any Given Sunday inches Al Pacino speech? Are we there yet?
Oh yeah, I think we've been there. We're gonna have a long talk with Rob today about the 99-199 issue from last week. Like I just don't get how he is still employed. We got to talk to ownership about that one.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
They're also showing a little bit more propensity to take the pull-up jumper, which I think is important for them. Aiden Holloway's been better. Brant Nelson's getting this thing out of foul trouble. Clifford Murray is attacking the offensive boards and being the defensive threat that they need. If Alabama can defend, and they make a run, and they win the SEC tournament, I think they're the 4th number 1 seed.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
That is also value to be the best player on the best team. To me, it's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. There is no doubt about it.
The Nuggets probably going to finish, 2nd overall in the conference here, and it's not going to get him the MVP. We'll see how it is down the stretch, and I assume this is going to tighten up, but barring a huge drop-off for OKC as a team, not just SGA, you could probably pencil him in for 30 night.
The early line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple of thoughts.
18.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in-game live. Game day here on the grid. Thanks again, Cam Stewart, joining us. He'll take over along with Gabe, top of the hour for the next two right here on the grid. Couple of decent little betting opportunities here, Dave, before we leave. First on the ice, Anaheim leads Dallas 3-2 in Dallas after 2. You get the Stars plus 134. They were a monster 3 and change favorite to win this game. You got a whole period left. You're getting odds, which I'm really surprised at. It's hard not to like Dallas plus 134. And then on the hoops, you got North Carolina off to a really good start. Both of us love North Carolina, but they're up 16, laying 15 and a half. Midway through, 7.5 minutes left in the first half. Don't know if you want to kind of reverse your bet and take San Diego State plus the 15.5, but either one of those two strike your fancy.
Well, obviously, I think Dallas is going to come back. They scored the next goal, then you should be sitting pretty good with that one. No, I'm watching the North Carolina and San Diego State game, and I don't really have any interest yet in trying to go for the middle. Might need 20. 20.5 might be the buy point. They cannot make a shot, and North Carolina is getting out, running the floor. This looks pretty good for North Carolina. This is going to I don't know what the line's going to be with Ole Miss. You're going to be surprised. It's going to be a lot smaller than anybody thinks. 6s are usually favored over 11s, but this is North Carolina, and they're playing right now, and they only have to go from Dayton to Milwaukee. So that's not even a long trip. It's easy. And they play on Friday, which is kind of different, where they're playing today, and they get the Friday game. So, yeah, North Carolina could definitely win another game in this thing. Listen, you had 2 puns, all right, tonight, and that total went over for Wetzel puns tonight. And you said out loud, don't worry about it, that one's in. The Celtics is final. You were right again, all right? Wetzel was right again. We're going to try to work that into the show because I know, damn, right. I'll let you say the damn part. Wetzel was right again, and then you say the damn. We'll try to work that into the show pretty much every day we do it. But 104-96, Celtics win by 8. So they don't cover the original number, but they cover the in-game live number. That was good. Let's go Cleveland. That's the only thing I'm focused on. We'll get this North Carolina. We'll enjoy this. But I don't know what, where, when, who, but I'm going to go out to dinner, grab a bite to eat, and root for the Cleveland Cavaliers tonight. This is your Black Cloud play of the night. We've been smoking hot. You even got it in the same game parlay. You got this. The producers pick tonight was North Carolina. Things are looking up. Things are looking up tonight. I like this.
Yeah. It is down to 2.5, but that's okay. We got it at 3, even though the graphic there said 3.5, but we got it at 3. So keep your fingers crossed. I will say that the Milwaukee Golden State, as I was telling Cam, it's down to 2. Right? This is just like the NBA. Steph Curry's not playing. And you watch them win tonight. I do think Lillard's going to go off going back home, 22.5 points. I do like his over on that one, but it's the NBA. We're going to allow Denver to win without their main guys. Milwaukee, you allow us to win without our main guy. This way, you can't complain, right? You can yell and scream about these guys not playing if the team loses. But if the team wins, what are you going to complain about? OKC, Nothing. I was trying to remember the team last night that rested all 5 of their guys. I said it was a good team. It was Oklahoma City. I looked it up today. They rested all 5 of their guys. All 5, Dave. They won the game. So it's like, how can you yell and scream if you won the game? You can't. And that's what the NBA, it's the greatest conspiracy. It's one of my favorite conspiracies. They all get together and say, all right, your turn. You want to rest your guys? You're going to win. My turn will be next time. Then it'll be your turn. We all lose. This way the fans can't yell and scream. I do believe that. I really do.
The backups want to play too. That line yesterday was incredible. I don't remember a basketball game, an NBA game, moving 7 points an hour before the game, but it was 4.5 at close, 11.5 pregame. And I don't know if Golden State actually ever led during the game. Denver, Gordon had a big game, 38 points. It happens. So, we're getting down to the nitty-gritty. Let's enjoy March. Let's enjoy tonight. It's a 20-2 run, by the way, for North Carolina. right now in the last 5 minutes and 20 seconds. 20-2. I'm glad I wore the North Carolina stuff. Looks pretty good.
Yeah. Good little hunch on that one, on that wardrobe selection, that's for sure.
Worked out okay.
All right, David, I'll be back tomorrow. Great job as always. Cam and the game, top of the hour. Coming up next.